Toothpaste seems simple. Squeeze, brush, rinse. What could possibly go wrong? For seniors, everything. From toxic ingredients banned in Europe to contaminated batches hiding lead and bacteria, the tube in your bathroom could be silently harming your gums, kidneys, and heart. Today, we're exposing 9 toothpaste brands you should avoid at all costs, and the 2 that are actually safe for your health and worth your trust. Coming in at number 9, Colgate Total, America's most trusted name in oral care, or so they promised. For decades, Colgate marketed Total as the gold standard for gum health and cavity protection. Walk into any pharmacy, and there it was, front and center, with its bold red packaging and clinical-looking design that screamed safety and science. The tube felt solid in your hand, substantial, expensive-looking. The gel came out smooth, pale blue, with that unmistakable sharp mint smell that burned your nostrils just slightly when you leaned in close. It foamed thick and lingered, coating every tooth, every crevice, filling your mouth with that medicinal taste that somehow felt professional. It felt like protection, like you were doing something good for your body. But here's what Colgate didn't advertise on those gleaming shelves. Triclosan. This antibacterial chemical was tucked into Colgate Total for years, despite mounting evidence linking it to hormone disruption, antibiotic resistance, and even cancer risks. Every time you brushed, you were coating your gums with a substance that researchers were warning about. The FDA finally forced them to remove it in 2019, but only after public pressure mounted and the evidence became impossible to ignore. But seniors who used it faithfully for years, trusting that red label morning and night, twice a day, were unknowingly exposed. Your bathroom routine, the one you never questioned, was slowly poisoning you. For those on heart medications or blood thinners, medications that millions of seniors take daily, triclosan can interfere with drug metabolism, putting you at risk for serious complications. Your blood pressure medication might not work as well. Your anticoagulants could become unpredictable. Your body was processing poison while you thought you were preventing cavities. Studies show that over 60% of seniors have some form of gum disease. Using contaminated or harmful toothpaste only accelerates the damage, turning a manageable condition into something far worse. The smooth, minty gel promised protection. Your kidneys and liver paid the price, working overtime to filter out toxins that should never have been there. Colgate promised you could trust them with your smile. They betrayed that trust with every brush, every squeeze, every morning for years. At number 8, we have Aquafresh. Those colorful stripes looked fun, clean, safe. 3 stripes, 3 benefits: cavity protection, fresh breath, and whitening. The red, white, and blue swirl came out of the tube like a tiny flag of dental health, a visual promise that you were getting triple action care. The texture was creamy, almost dessert-like, and it tasted sweet, like bubblegum for adults. It felt innocent. It reminded you of childhood, of trust, of simpler times when things were what they claimed to be. But beneath that cheerful branding lies a darker truth. Multiple consumer safety reports have flagged Aquafresh for containing high levels of sodium lauryl sulfate, or SLS. This foaming agent is the reason your toothpaste creates all that satisfying lather, but it's also linked to canker sores, mouth irritation, and gum inflammation. For seniors with sensitive mouths, dry gums, or those taking medications that already cause dry mouth, a condition affecting nearly 30% of older adults, SLS makes everything worse. That foam you feel, the one that makes you think it's really cleaning, that thick white lather coating your teeth, it's stripping away protective saliva, leaving your mouth vulnerable to infections, bacteria, and decay. Your gums start to recede. Your tongue feels raw, especially in the mornings. And you think it's just age, just part of getting older. But it's the toothpaste. Some batches of Aquafresh have also been recalled internationally due to microbial contamination, bacteria growing inside the tube. Imagine brushing with paste that contains the very germs it's supposed to fight. You open the cap, squeeze, and invisible colonies of microbes slide onto your brush. You scrub them into your gums, pressing them into the tiny cuts and abrasions that form naturally as you age. The brand promised triple protection. What you got was triple risk. Aquafresh built its reputation on being family-friendly, on being the safe choice for everyone. But for seniors, it's a minefield of irritation and hidden contamination. Now at number 7, Sensodyne. This one stings because it was marketed specifically to seniors and those with sensitive teeth. Sensodyne built its entire reputation on trust, on understanding pain, on promising relief. If your teeth hurt, Sensodyne was the answer. The commercials showed older people biting into ice cream without wincing, smiling wide, living without pain. The packaging was soft, clinical, gentle-looking, pastel colors, a calm font. It whispered relief in every design choice. It looked like something a dentist would recommend, something safe, something made just for you. But recent reports reveal a troubling pattern. Some Sensodyne formulas contain strontium acetate and potassium nitrate in levels that can cause adverse reactions in people with kidney disease. For seniors managing chronic kidney issues, a condition affecting nearly 37% of adults over 65, these compounds can accumulate in the body, leading to toxicity. Your kidneys, already working harder than they used to, suddenly have another burden to carry, another chemical to filter, another toxin to process. The soothing sensation you feel after brushing, that numbness on your tongue, that coolness spreading across your gums, that immediate relief, that's the effect of potassium nitrate. It doesn't fix sensitivity. It masks it. The pain is still there, deep in your tooth, in the exposed root, in the eroding enamel. You just can't feel it anymore. Meanwhile, the underlying damage gets worse. The cavity deepens. The decay spreads. The nerve slowly dies. Several tubes tested in independent labs showed contamination with trace metals, including aluminum and nickel. Seniors with metal allergies or compromised immune systems are at risk. One user reported a metallic taste that wouldn't go away, a tingling in the gums that lasted for hours, a burning sensation that kept them up at night. The tube promised relief. What it delivered was a cover-up, and in some cases, silent harm to your organs. Stick around. The solutions are coming, and trust me, you need to hear which brands are actually safe before you brush tonight. Coming in at number 6, Crest 3D White. Bright smiles sell. Crest knows this better than anyone. Their 3D White line promises Hollywood teeth in weeks, celebrity smiles without the celebrity budget. The box shows dazzling white smiles, people laughing without covering their mouths, confident, glowing, young-looking. The paste itself is thick, pearly white, almost iridescent, with a sharp chemical smell that stings your eyes if you get too close. It tastes aggressively minty, almost medicinal, like mouthwash concentrate. And that burn you feel on your gums after a few days of use, that sharp, stinging sensation, that's not freshness. That's damage. That's your soft tissue reacting to chemicals it was never meant to handle. The whitening agents, hydrogen peroxide, and harsh abrasives are doing more than removing stains. They're stripping enamel, the protective outer layer of your teeth that never grows back. They're irritating gums, causing them to pull away from your teeth. And in some cases, they're causing chemical burns inside the mouth. Seniors with receding gums, a natural part of aging that affects more than 88% of people over 65, are especially vulnerable. The peroxide seeps into exposed root surfaces, areas that were never meant to be exposed, causing sharp, shooting pain and long-term damage. In 2021, over 20,000 tubes of Crest were recalled due to microbiological contamination. The bacteria found? Pseudomonas aeruginosa, a pathogen that thrives in moist environments and can cause serious infections in people with weakened immune systems. For seniors recovering from surgery, on chemotherapy, or taking immunosuppressants, this is a direct threat to life. You brush your teeth before bed, and hours later, you're spiking a fever. Your gums swell, turning red and hot to the touch. An infection takes hold, spreading through your bloodstream. The packaging promised a radiant smile. What you risked was a hospital visit, an IV line, and antibiotics that wreak havoc on your gut. Crest 3. D-White is vanity at a dangerous cost. Isn't it strange how toothpaste companies spend millions on whitening claims, yet barely mention the enamel damage and gum erosion that comes with it? Next up, at number 5, Arm & Hammer. Advanced White Baking Soda sounds natural, safe, almost homemade. Arm & Hammer capitalized on that trust, on the idea that baking soda is what your grandmother used, something simple and pure. Their toothpaste is marketed as gentle yet effective, using the power of baking soda to clean and whiten naturally. The tube is simple, unpretentious, with that little hammer logo that makes you think of grandma's pantry, of home remedies that actually work. The paste comes out gritty, pale white with tiny granules you can feel, with a salty, alkaline taste that coats your tongue and makes your mouth feel dry. It feels like you're scrubbing with something real, something old-fashioned, something that doesn't need fancy chemicals to work. But independent lab tests revealed something alarming: inconsistent pH levels across batches. Some tubes tested as highly alkaline, far higher than safe levels, which can disrupt the natural pH balance of your mouth. Your mouth is supposed to be slightly acidic to neutral, a delicate balance that keeps bacteria in check. When that balance tips, when the pH swings too high, bacteria thrive. They multiply faster. They produce more acid. They attack your enamel with renewed vigor. For seniors with dry mouth, a common side effect of medications like blood pressure pills, antidepressants, antihistamines, and painkillers, this imbalance accelerates oral health decline at an alarming rate. Your tongue feels thick and sticky. Your breath turns sour no matter how much you brush. Your teeth start to yellow despite all that scrubbing, despite following every instruction on the tube. Some production facilities linked to Arm & Hammer have had sanitation violations, including improper storage conditions that allow mold and bacterial growth. Workers have reported seeing residue on equipment, moisture where there should be none, shortcuts taken to meet production deadlines. The gritty texture feels like it's scrubbing away plaque, like it's really getting in there and cleaning. But it's also scrubbing away enamel, the protective coating that guards your teeth against everything. It's scratching microscopic grooves into your teeth, creating places for bacteria to hide, for stains to settle, for decay to begin. The brand promised natural care, the kind your grandmother would approve of. What you got was inconsistent safety, unpredictable pH levels, and potential contamination from a factory that couldn't keep its own production lines clean and safe. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It's free, and it means you'll never miss these exposes. At number 4, Close-Up. Remember the commercials? Fresh breath, sparkling smile, confidence. Close-Up was the toothpaste of romance and social success, the brand that promised to make you irresistible. The tube was bold, bright red, eye-catching on any bathroom counter. The gel inside was translucent, ruby-colored, catching the light like a jewel. It smelled like cinnamon candy, sweet and spicy, filling your bathroom with that warm, festive scent. It tasted like Christmas in your mouth, like cinnamon hearts, like the holidays. It felt fun, exciting, different from the clinical mint of other brands. But behind the red gel and cinnamon flavor lies a recipe for trouble. Close-Up contains high levels of saccharin, an artificial sweetener that has been linked to bladder issues, allergic reactions, and in some animal studies, cancer. For seniors with diabetes or those monitoring sugar intake carefully, saccharin can cause unexpected blood sugar fluctuations. Your glucose levels spike when they shouldn't. Your insulin response becomes unpredictable. Your carefully managed condition suddenly becomes harder to control. The gel formula also contains an excessive amount of dyes, red 40, and other colorants that have been flagged by European regulators for potential carcinogenic properties, for causing hyperactivity in children, for triggering allergic reactions. The cinnamon flavor? It's loaded with cinnamaldehyde, a compound that can cause contact dermatitis and mouth ulcers, especially in seniors with sensitive or compromised oral tissue. Several reports have surfaced of consumers experiencing burning sensations that last for hours, swollen gums that bleed when touched, and allergic reactions that require medical intervention. One woman from Florida described waking up with her tongue covered in white patches, painful and raw, unable to eat or drink without wincing. After just 2 weeks of using Close-Up, another man reported his gums turning bright red, swelling so much he couldn't close his mouth properly, couldn't speak clearly, couldn't eat solid food. The brand promised boldness, confidence, romance. What it delivered was inflammation, potential carcinogens, and a mouthful of chemical irritation. Close-Up is a relic of aggressive marketing that never cared about long-term safety, only about selling an image that had nothing to do with health. Do you think it's a coincidence that the cheapest toothpastes always seem to have the most recalls and contamination reports? Now we're at number 3, Pepsodent. Once a household name in America, a brand your parents used, maybe even your grandparents, Pepsodent has faded in the United States but is still widely used in other countries and available online through unregulated sellers. The problem? Outdated formulas and inconsistent regulation. The tube looks vintage, almost nostalgic, with its red and white design that hasn't changed in decades. The paste is thick, chalky white, with a strong medicinal taste that makes your mouth pucker, that coats your tongue with a bitter film. It foams heavy, coating your teeth in a dense layer that feels like it's doing something, like it's really working. But some versions of Pepsodent, particularly those manufactured overseas and sold through third-party sellers, still contain diethylene glycol, a toxic compound used in antifreeze. Yes, the same chemical that goes in your car radiator. In 2007, contaminated Pepsodent toothpaste was linked to poisoning cases in several countries. People were hospitalized with acute kidney failure. Some died agonizing deaths. The FDA has since restricted its sale in the United States, but unregulated imports still slip through, sold on auction sites, in ethnic grocery stores, through online marketplaces that don't check what they're selling. You order toothpaste online, looking for a bargain or a brand from your childhood that brings back memories. It arrives in a plain package, maybe with foreign writing on it, maybe not. You brush. The taste is familiar, comforting even, and you have no idea that every squeeze could be introducing poison into your system. For seniors, ingesting even Even small amounts of diethylene glycol can cause kidney failure, neurological damage, seizures, coma, and death. The symptoms start subtle: nausea, dizziness, a headache you can't shake. By the time you realize something is wrong, the damage is done. Your kidneys are failing. Your brain is swelling. The minty taste masks the danger. The foaming action feels clean, but every brush could be your last healthy one. Pepsodent promised a legacy of trust, a brand that stood the test of time. What it left behind was a trail of toxicity and a warning that not all toothpaste is created equal, and some should never, ever touch your mouth. You won't believe what the next two brands hide. One calls itself natural, the other promises professional care. Both failed inspection. Coming in at number 2, Tom's of Maine. Natural, wholesome, trustworthy. Tom's of Maine built its brand on being the anti-corporate choice, the brand for people who care about what goes in their bodies. No artificial flavors, no harsh chemicals, just simple, clean ingredients you can pronounce. The packaging is earthy with soft greens and browns, a friendly font that looks handwritten. It looks like something you'd buy at a farmer's market, something made by people who care. The paste is off-white, sometimes speckled with herbs or minerals, with a mild herbal taste that doesn't burn. It doesn't foam much, which makes you feel like it's pure, unprocessed, real. You pay extra for it, sometimes double the price of regular toothpaste, but you feel good about your choice. You're supporting a small company, doing right by your body, making the responsible choice. But in late 2024, the truth came out, and it shattered everything Tom's claimed to stand for. An FDA inspection of Tom's manufacturing facility in Sanford, Maine, uncovered shocking violations that read like a horror story. Water contaminated with Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Ralstonia insidiosa, bacteria that cause blood infections, pneumonia, and sepsis, particularly in people with weakened immune systems. Mold growing on walls and equipment. Slime coating the pipes that carried water to the mixing tanks. Black residue on the machines that ground the herbs and minerals you thought were so pure. The natural ingredients Tom's boasted about? They weren't being stored or processed under safe conditions. Powder was caked in standing water, growing bacteria cultures. Surfaces were covered in biofilm, that slippery coating that forms when bacteria colonize an area. Workers were producing toothpaste in conditions that wouldn't pass inspection at a fast food restaurant, let alone a manufacturing facility making products people put in their mouths twice a day. For seniors with compromised immune systems, heart conditions, or those on antibiotics, this is a severe and immediate risk. One batch, one brush, one infection. That's all it takes. You brush your teeth, and the next day you're coughing. The day after that, you're in the emergency room with pneumonia. The label promised purity, nature, care. The factory delivered contamination, negligence, and danger. Statistics show that nearly 70% of consumers trust natural labels without questioning the production process, without asking where it's made, without wondering if anyone checks. Tom's of Maine betrayed that trust in the worst way possible. The brand that marketed itself as the safe alternative, the responsible choice, the brand for people who care, turned out to be one of the most dangerous, and they charged you extra for the privilege of being poisoned. What's the worst toothpaste you've ever opened? Drop it below. And now, the #1 brand to avoid: Crest Pro Health. The #1 brand to avoid. The ultimate all-in-one solution, or so they claimed. Cavity protection, gum health, enamel strength, whitening, fresh breath, tartar control, sensitivity relief. It was the toothpaste for people who wanted everything, who didn't want to choose between benefits, who wanted one tube to do it all. The packaging was sleek, professional, clinical, with that distinctive blue and white design. It looked like something a dentist would hand you after a cleaning, something prescribed rather than purchased. The paste was smooth, pale blue, with white flecks, with a clean, almost sterile scent. It tasted fresh, not too sweet, not too sharp, perfectly balanced. It felt premium. It felt safe. It felt like the smart choice, the responsible choice, the choice recommended by 9 out of 10 dentists. But thousands of consumers reported a horrifying side effect that Crest never warned them about: teeth staining, not whitening, staining. Dark brown spots appeared on teeth after just weeks of use. Spots that looked like decay, like rot, like something that would require drilling and filling. People woke up, looked in the mirror during their morning routine, and saw their smiles turning the color of rust. They panicked, naturally. They called their dentists. They made emergency appointments. And the dentist asked one question: are you using Crest Pro Health? Crest's response: it's a harmless cosmetic issue caused by stannous fluoride, the active ingredient that makes our toothpaste so effective. Harmless? For seniors already self-conscious about aging teeth, receding gums, and the natural yellowing that comes with time, these stains were devastating. They stopped smiling in photos. They covered their mouths when they laughed. They avoided social situations. They felt ashamed of something that was supposed to make them look better. But the staining isn't even the worst part of this story. Stannous fluoride, in the high concentrations used in Crest Pro Health, has been linked to gum irritation that goes beyond minor discomfort. We're talking about chronic inflammation, mouth sores that won't heal, and in rare but serious cases, allergic reactions that cause swelling severe enough to restrict breathing. Multiple lawsuits have been filed against Crest, with plaintiffs claiming the company knew about these risks for years and failed to warn consumers, failed to change the formula, failed to do anything except keep selling and keep profiting. For seniors on blood thinners, medications like warfarin or the newer DOACs that millions take to prevent strokes, the gum irritation can lead to excessive bleeding that won't stop with normal pressure. One user from Ohio described constant bleeding every time he brushed, gums that felt raw and tender to even the lightest touch, and a metallic taste that never went away, that made every meal taste like blood. The smooth, clinical packaging promised professional-level care, the kind you'd get from a specialist. What you got was discolored teeth that made you look older and sicker, irritated gums that bled at the slightest touch, and a betrayal of trust at the highest level. Over 40% of seniors use Crest Pro Health, believing it's the safest choice, the most complete choice, the smart choice. It's not. It's the #1 toothpaste to avoid, the one that causes more harm while promising the most good. It's the ultimate betrayal in an industry built on broken promises. Most people never realize the toothpaste they've trusted for years has been slowly harming them. Stick around. The solution is at the very end. Ever noticed how these brands keep recalling but never changing? The 2 safe picks. Now, after all that darkness, after all those broken promises and contaminated factories, you deserve the truth about what's actually safe. Not every toothpaste is hiding danger. Not every brand is cutting corners or lying about ingredients. There are 2 brands that consistently pass inspections, avoid harmful chemicals, and actually deliver on their promises without betraying your trust. 2 brands that understand trust isn't just a marketing tool, but a responsibility they take seriously. The first is Burt's Bees Purely White Toothpaste. This brand is produced under strict safety protocols in facilities that undergo regular third-party inspections. It's free from harsh chemicals like triclosan and sodium lauryl sulfate, the foaming agent that irritates so many mouths. It has been regularly tested for contamination by independent labs, and those results are published openly for anyone to see. No detectable levels of heavy metals, no bacteria, no forever chemicals. The formula uses natural whitening agents derived from silica that are gentle on enamel, removing surface stains without scratching or eroding the protective layer your teeth need. This makes it safe for seniors with sensitive teeth or receding gums, people who have been burned before by whitening toothpastes that promised brightness but delivered pain. Because it's fluoride-free, it's also safe for those with kidney concerns who need to limit fluoride intake, who've been told by their doctors to watch what goes in their bodies. The texture is smooth but not overly foamy. It doesn't create that thick lather that makes you think it's cleaning better. It just cleans quietly and effectively. The taste is mild, with a hint of natural mint that doesn't burn, that doesn't make your eyes water, that doesn't leave that medicinal aftertaste. It doesn't promise miracles. It doesn't claim to do 7 things at once. It just delivers clean, safe, effective care. For seniors managing multiple medications, dealing with dry mouth, worrying about every ingredient, Burt's Bees offers something rare in this industry: peace of mind. No hormone disruptors, no allergens, no hidden risks, no betrayal waiting in the tube. Just toothpaste that does what it's supposed to do, nothing more, nothing less, but doing it right. The second recommendation is Hello Oral Care Activated Charcoal Toothpaste. This brand has been carefully formulated without artificial sweeteners that mess with blood sugar, without dyes that European regulators have banned, without microbeads that damage enamel and pollute waterways. It consistently passes FDA inspections with flying colors, with 0 violations, 0 warnings, 0 recalls. The activated charcoal naturally whitens teeth without harsh abrasives, working by absorption rather than scrubbing, gently lifting stains without damaging the tooth surface. This makes it safe for seniors with receding gums or enamel erosion, people whose teeth have been through decades of use and can't handle aggressive cleaning anymore. There's no sodium lauryl sulfate, so no stripping away of protective saliva. No triclosan, so no hormone disruption or antibiotic resistance. No hidden risks buried in fine print that nobody reads. The paste is black, which looks strange at first, almost alarming when it comes out of the tube. But it rinses clean, leaving no residue, no staining, no trace except clean teeth and fresh breath. Your mouth feels fresh without that chemical burn, without that rawness that makes you wince when you drink cold water. Hello Oral Care is transparent about everything. Their ingredients are listed clearly, with explanations of what each one does and why it's there. Their sourcing is documented. Their manufacturing process is open to inspection. The company publishes water quality reports and contamination testing results on their website, updated regularly, available to anyone who wants to look. For seniors who have been burned by broken promises, who've trusted brands that betrayed them, who've used products that hurt them while claiming to help, this level of transparency is everything. It's the difference between gambling with your health and making an informed choice. Both of these brands, Burt's Bees and Hello Oral Care, understand something that the big corporations forgot. Trust isn't built through clever marketing and celebrity endorsements. It's built through consistent safety, through honest ingredients, through keeping promises every single day. They deliver on their promises without putting your health at risk, without cutting corners, without contaminating your bathroom with bacteria and toxins. Your smile deserves protection, and now you know how much the right products matter. But oral care is only one part of the picture. The products you use on your hair can affect your scalp, skin, and overall health too. Some shampoos contain harsh chemicals or irritating additives you should know about. Click the next video, 9 shampoo brands to avoid at all cost, and the 2 that are actually worth it.